Necessity is the mother of all invention, and horror heavyweight Wes Craven found it very necessary for a fresh coat of paint on the beloved Elm Street franchise after that atrocity that was Freddy's Dead.
Miss me.
Finding new twists for a slasher icon without hitting the reset button altogether is never an easy feat, but that's exactly what Mr. Craven did with the 1994's Wes Craven's A New Nightmare. Let's talk about it. From Jump Street, on Elm Street, let's give a gold star to whoever came up with the idea of beginning this movie the same way they began the 1984 classic. You've got a dingy location, you've got a guy working on a glove, and the glove just so happens to have razors attached to each one of the fingers. Chef's kiss, baby. That was a perfect way to kick this one off. Little do we know this is a movie set, and Nancy Thompson is actually Heather Langenkamp. Naturally, things go sideways, and we soon see this is a dream involving her husband and her child. Now, the glove winds up slashing her hubby's fingers, and in real life, they are waken up by yet another earthquake that they've been suffering through. And wouldn't you know it, when her husband wakes up, his fingers are cut as well. Dun, dun, dun. I was 14 when this movie came out. I don't remember if I knew the premise of it going in, but I do distinctly remember the way I felt when they called Nancy Thompson by her real name of Heather Langenkamp in the film. Immediately, I knew we were going off into a direction that we hadn't seen a horror movie go into, and it was really exciting. The story of A New Nightmare centers around the movie within the movie, and we get a lot of the characters from the original, such as Heather Langenkamp, we get Robert Englund, we get Wes Craven himself in the movie, and we also have the incomparable John Saxon back. Now, Heather herself has been receiving a lot of very disturbing phone calls from an individual, and little does she know that Wes, the last few weeks, has been working on a new nightmare story for her to be the central figure of. Absolutely love the inclusion of Pet Sematari's Miko Hughes as her movie son Dylan. Just like any other movie in the past, it's Halloween. When you incorporate a small child into a film franchise like this, it ramps up the tension, it raises the stakes, and it makes it that much more uncomfortable. Dylan begins to experience a lot of the same sorts of nightmares that Heather herself is having, and it's here that we meet Rex. Now, Rex is a stuffed Tyrannosaurus Rex doll that protects Dylan. He keeps it at the bottom of his bed, and he says to his mother that Rex keeps the mean old man with the claws at the bottom of the bed. Heather begins to realize that all of this is tied together as her little boy's mental health is drastically declining. So she gets on the phone, calls her husband, begs him to come home. Now, he falls asleep at the wheel, involving a dream while working on this new glove of Freddy's. It's here your heart starts to break for Heather in this movie. She's just lost her husband. She's being harassed on the phone by what she thinks is a crazy fan, and her little boy is just falling apart in front of her eyes. She reaches out to Robert Englund, who over the years has become a friend, and he too tells her that he's been having dreams of Freddy. Not just the Freddy that they know, but a more sinister, darker, and significantly more evil version of that character. This movie is relentless. Every 5 minutes, it feels like something drastic happens to Heather to just beat her down that much more. Dylan's phenomenal babysitter, Julie, has a great hero moment after the hospital nurse sedates Dylan against his wishes, his mother's wishes, and Julie's wishes. If you haven't seen that scene in the hospital involving Julie while Dylan watches, I won't spoil it for you, but you've got to check it out.
Hey Dylan, ever played Skin the Cat?
It's chilling. So I remember not being a big fan of the recurring Hansel and Gretel theme they have to this film, but now that I'm a dad, I kind of get it. Much like the breadcrumbs in the story, they use sleeping pills for Heather to find her way to Dylan after Freddy's abducted him. Coming out of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, the bar was remarkably low for a franchise of this caliber. So the follow-up was going to be crucial, and I thought they hit a home run with this movie. I loved the way that they flipped it into a real-life story, And in the movie, you would flip from real life to fictional life between John Saxon being Heather Langenkamp's friend and then being Nancy Thompson's dad.
What the hell is going on, Nancy?
Why are you calling me Nancy, John?
Why are you calling me John?
I thought it was all really done well. More than Ages Gracefully, Wes Craven's A New Nightmare is a great watch. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I enjoy it. I love watching it. There aren't very many times where I'll choose another Nightmare on Elm Street movie over this one. There's only a couple, and we'll get to that when we rank them. But
Nancy, Freddy's dead.
for Aging Gracefully, I am Matthew Essex. I appreciate you guys checking this one out. I'll see everybody on the other side.